Bob Marley, reggae's Rasta King, the dreadlock dreamer, turned one love into one love many ladies. His heart was so massive it took a whole crew of women to keep it beating. Welcome to Celeb Love. Keep watching as we're about to break down every single lady who stole a piece of Bob's rhythm, where their paths crossed, how long they vibed, and how their stories overlapped like tracks on a mixtape, flipping his life upside down. Let's rewind the tape to 1961. Bob's just 16, a scrappy kid hustling in Jamaica's back streets, when Cheryl Murray strolls into his orbit. The details are sketchy at best, hazier than a room full of ganja smoke, but this teenage fling was Bob's first spin around the block before he hit the big leagues. Somewhere along Jamaica's dusty roads, Cheryl and Bob strike up a romance, short, sweet, and sizzling. By May 22, 1963, she drops a bombshell, literally, giving birth to Imani Cheryl Marley. This little girl's the mystery kid, a whisper in Bob's sprawling story, raised far from the spotlight's glare. The fling fizzled out by 63 as Bob's dreams outgrew their small-town vibe. But Cheryl proved this Rasta's charm was a weapon even before the fame kicked in. Cheryl was Bob's warm-up act, quick, flavorful, and gone before the main event. She was the appetizer that whet his appetite for the wild ride ahead. Coming up next, we've got the OG, the unshakable queen of Bob's empire, Rita Marley. Let's set the scene. It's the mid-1960s in Trenchtown, Jamaica, a rough-and-tumble Kingston neighborhood where the streets are paved with grit and dreams collide with reality. Bob's a wiry, ambitious 20-something just starting out with the Wailers, moonlighting as a coach for a girl group called the Soulettes. That was when he locked eyes with Alpharita Rita Anderson. She was 19, fierce, with a voice that could melt hearts and a spirit that matched his fire. The connection was instant, like lightning striking a Rasta rally. Sparks flew, and on February 10, 1966, they tied the knot in a ceremony as vibrant as a Jamaican sunset. For the next 15 years, they were locked in. Well, sort of. Rita was no ordinary wife. She was a powerhouse, the backbone holding Bob's chaotic world together. She brought 3 of his kids into the world: Cedella in 1967, Ziggy in 1968, and Stephen in 1972, while adopting Sharon from her own past relationship. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Stephanie Marley, who many assumed to be Bob's daughter, was actually the result of one of Rita's own extramarital relationships. Rita was also slaying it as part of the I-3s, Bob's backup singers, laying down harmonies on tracks like No Woman, No Cry, while Bob was off, let's just say, spreading the love. Their marriage? Think of it as a roller coaster with no brakes, thrilling, messy, and full of loops. Bob was out there planting seeds left and right, but Rita was the rock-steady queen, turning his whirlwind into a family dynasty. Amazingly, Rita even sang songs he wrote for other women without missing a beat. Talk about strength. It all comes to a heartbreaking halt in '81 when cancer claims Bob at just 36. But Rita kept the Marley flame burning bright to this day. Rita wasn't just his wife. She was the CEO of Marley Inc., steering the ship while Bob sailed through a sea of romance. Ready for the next stop on this love tour? Let's go! By 1972, Bob was already a married man, a rising star, and apparently juggling more than just microphones. Enter Pat Lucille Williams, a Jamaican beauty who caught Bob's wandering eye for what feels like a fleeting moment. It was early '72, and Bob was back in Jamaica, balancing family, the Wailers, and a packed schedule, when Pat swooped in like a breeze off the Caribbean. Their fling was so fast that if you blinked, you'd miss it. Boom, it was over. And just like that, by May 16th, Robert Robbie Marley, Pat's son with Bob, was wailing in the crib, born only a month after Rita's son Stephen. Pat vanished into the shadows, but Rita was unfazed, stepping up like, "Another one? Hand me the kid." Robbie scooped into the Marley clan, and Pat disappeared like a ghost drifting off into the sunset. Pat was Bob's drive-by romance, here one minute, gone the next, leaving a baby in her wake. Hold tight. 3 days after Robbie's debut, Janet Hunt stormed in, shouting, "My turn!" Yeah, the timeline's wild. Some of these stories ran side by side. Bob was juggling music, women, and a growing family like a true rock star. In 1971, Bob crossed paths with Janet, and their fling's a whirlwind. Less slow reggae jam, more high-speed ska sprint. By May 19, 1972, Hunt's son Rohan Marley arrived. Yep, just 3 days after Robbie, Bob was literally dropping babies faster than beats in a dub track. Janet kept it low-key, But when the sparks faded by 72, Rita was there again, arms open, raising Rohan as her own. Fun fact, Rohan grew up to father kids with Lauryn Hill. Talk about a legacy that keeps on giving. Bob took his love tour across the pond. Say hello to Janet Bowen, his English Rose. In 1972, while Bob was in England, rocking gigs and captivating audiences, he crossed paths with Janet Bowen, who soon found herself swept off her feet. Their romance bloomed fast, and by 1973, Karen Marley was born on British soil. The fling was brief, maybe a year, before Bob left for Jamaica, leaving Karen to be raised by Rita and his grandparents. Janet stayed out of the headlines, a quieter chapter in Bob's global love saga. Bob went full James Bond in London, licensed to thrill. Janet Bowen was his British groove, and Rita's like, "Cheers, mate, I'll take Karen too." The man's love knew no borders. Bob was still vibing in the UK by 1974, and Lucy Pounder was ready to join the dance. Their rhythm flows for about a year, and on June 4, 1975, Julian Marley hits the scene, the only other Marley kid born outside Jamaica. Lucy kept it cool, fading out as Bob toured the world, but Julian grew into a reggae star, carrying the family torch. And Rita? She was happy to add another to her ever-growing roster. Back in Jamaica, 1975, Anita Belnavis served Bob a love match he can't resist. Anita was a table tennis champ, and Bob met her courtside. Their rally was short but scored big. Kaimani Marley, a result of their romance, bounced into the world on February 26, 1976. Anita was out of the spotlight fast, but Kaimani rose as a reggae hip-hop king. Rita kept the family groove alive. No sweat. Another kid. Another victory. Bob's game was on point. Now the headliner, Cindy Breakspeare, Miss World 1976, jazz diva, and Bob's A-list affair. In 1976, at 56 Hope Road, Jamaica, Bob was jamming with the Wailers when Cindy, a jaw-dropping uptown goddess, strutted in. The chemistry was explosive, and for 6 years, they were the island's hottest gossip. Think tabloid headlines and breakfast table tension. Before long, Damien Jr. Gong Marley arrived on July 21, 1978, a future Grammy champ. Cindy inspired classics like Turn Your Lights Down Low and Waiting in Vain. Rita sang backup while quietly throwing shade. It was a love triangle with extra spice, but Bob balanced both queens until cancer cut the saga short in '81. Cindy was Bob's VIP, Miss World meets Mr. Rasta. Finally on the list, Yvette Crichton, the quiet closing note to Bob's epic symphony. In 1980, as Bob battled cancer, he found himself shuffling between Jamaica and Miami, trying to hold it all together. During this challenging time, Yvette was one of the women who remained by his side, offering support and companionship. Their time short, a year at most, and it ended with Makita Janesta Marley, born May 30, 1981, just weeks after Bob's death. Yvette kept it private, raising Makita in Philadelphia, a gentle echo of Bob's wild legacy. Yvette was Bob's final whisper, a soft fade out in the storm, and Makita was the proof that their love story didn't end even after he was gone. Bob Marley's love life was a playlist packed with passion, chaos, and a whole lot of kids. Rita held the throne like a queen, while the others spun Bob's world like a vinyl on repeat. His marriage was a jam session with a rotating cast, and his legacy? Immortal, unstoppable, and echoing through generations. What's your take? Was Bob's love life a reflection of his free-spirited nature, or would today's social media have canceled him for the chaos? Did these loves elevate his legend, or was it all too much even for a reggae king to handle? And if Bob were around today, would people still celebrate his lifestyle, or would they see it differently? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you love deep dives into celebrity relationships, hit that like button, subscribe to Celeb Love, and tell us which star's love life we should cover next. See you in the next video.